Okay, so we had to do a couple of clearings to make sure that we can actually hear each other today. And if at any point you can't hear me, let me know. We're going to do some more tools for all of that. Thanks for those of you that are on here live. I love seeing your faces and seeing your names on the screen. For those of you that are just meeting me, I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo, and this is the Soaring Beyond Definition call in which we have English, Italian, and French. And if anybody wants to jump onto the Spanish call, we're going to have that at 6:30 New York time today, and you can just bathe in the energy of Spanish. You don't have to speak Spanish, so it's available to you, and you can enjoy the energies of that. And then you can also, if you do speak Spanish, you can participate in a different way. But we have some wonderful questions that were sent in. Let me remind everybody on here that if you need translation, in case you're not seeing the messages earlier, this is for Italian. And then this is for French. Please go ahead and choose your language. Yes. And for those of you that catch this later on, for any of our calls, we have a little globe icon or 3 dots, and you choose your language there so that you can continuously hear your language while seeing everyone's faces and names that are on here live if you're on a call live. So we have some wonderful questions that were sent in. And for those of you that are on live, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will address that and get them translated if you need them translated, no problem. We had to do some 1, 2, 3s and some 1, 2, 3, 4s because there are so much of the unseen with us today. And I'm actually vibrating, like my chest is like, So you might hear it in my voice a little bit today because they're very loud. And yet, man, do a lot of them want to play with us and contribute to us and add to our lives. So hello, but we definitely had to be firm with them, didn't we? Those of you that helped with that, where we were like, could you make it easier, please? So thank you for helping out with that. A couple of announcements before we get into the questions and to give everyone a chance to come in and put their questions in the chat. We had a wonderful call. It was the first call of the Messages from Books community. Thank you for those of you that are in there. It's been an amazing start to our discussions. And we started off with the book that I chose, which was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, a young adult kind of fiction book, but is it really fiction? And we talked about some of the elements in there that seem fantastical and different and magical, and yet absolutely can be a part of our lives if we choose to. And the replay for that is still available, and people can come into the Messages from Books community at any time. Our next call is going to be on July 8th with Megan Silito, and she chose the book Conscious Luck, which I'm really excited about. I actually got both the book and the workbook. And she's going to be guiding us through our discussion with that. It's all about creating your luck and not actually thinking that, oh, you're either born lucky or not. And some of us have these stories about, oh, I'm super unlucky in relationships, or I'm super unlucky with money. I'm super unlucky with fill in the blank. And it's like, well, is that an actual definition that we want to buy? Or is it something that we can choose different and choose beyond, like soar beyond, you know? And so that's going to be July 8th. And we're going to be including the link to that in the replay email, but I'm popping it into our chat for those of you that are doing it in English. And then we also have a special link for French and Italian. Okay, so hopefully more of you will join into the discussion. I would love to have more people to play with and talk about these amazing books. And it's just $17 US. We're making it really easy for y'all. Thank you for everybody that's already been choosing the Awakening class on July 25th, where you learn the living and dying body process. We're about half full. We're only going to have 10 spaces for that class, and really excited because we have people all around the world that are joining in. No prerequisites for that class. You just have to have somebody else that's in the same physical space as you to give and receive sessions with, okay? And the children can participate in the class for free. And we've had children in every class so far. It's been awesome. They are a huge contribution. And I suspect that this class is going to be the same, where we're going to have some kids in there. So that would be really great, because kids can learn this and then they can be your partner to swap with. Looking at my notes here. Oh, yes. Thank you, everybody, for your messages of love and caring, for checking in on me, for sending me funny videos and images through all of the challenges that have been going on with my family in the last couple of weeks. Really, really appreciate it. It's been super intense. One crisis after another, one really like something else. Like my mom and I would look at each other and just be like, okay, there's something else here. And we've really had to completely rearrange our household. My grandmother is now living with us from Puerto Rico to really get her through however much longer she's choosing to live on this planet. And we're really choosing to do business very differently, and also holding each other accountable to continuing to show up in our lives, continuing to have relationships and nurture our bodies. And so grateful for my mom for that, and for her being willing for me to nudge her as well, because we keep being each other's cheerleaders, and also being like, hey, do you need a kick in the butt right now? Because I'm willing to give you a kick in the butt. And so, and for those of you who need a kick in the butt, like, I'm willing to give it to you, as you probably know. But also, who are the people? I'm going to pause. It says my internet's cutting out a little bit. Okay. And let's all expand some more, please. And let's do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll do some more of these. Man, what are y'all bringing to this call today? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's already way better. Thank you. And don't wait for me to tell you to do it. If you sense it's going to help, go for it. That opened up some more space. Thank you. And breathe, everybody. Whew. There is a lot of contraction here. So what I was saying was, if you need somebody to kick your butt, great. Find those people, ask for those people. Some of us need that every once in a while. And if you're also needing the person that's going to give you that loving, nurturing hugs and care and messages, and or someone to laugh with, ask for that. Ask and you shall receive. And so thank you for those of you that were willing to send me some love, because man, it has been and was very, very hard. It's a lot lighter now, but it's still really intense. I'm going to pause again. I see y'all freezing. I'm going to pause. Okay. How is it going? A little bit. Yes. Whew. And let's do some 4s. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This opens the doors to something else showing up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you that already know the living and dying body process, or have received sessions, go ahead and activate that energy in your body, please. Let's all do that together. Where are we living with all of the unseen? Just notice how, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just my body. Well, my body just went, woo, and melted with that. All right. And where are we dying with the unseen? And both are expansive. It actually creates a lot more space, because living is where we're adding things in, where we're creating, where we're choosing, where we're showing up. And dying is what we're needing to let go of, what we're releasing, what we're shifting, what we're saying, see you next time, or until next time too. So they're both actually expansive energies. That's why we would like to have both living and dying. What's not so fun and expansive, what's not necessarily a gift to us, is life and death. That's very finite. That's very rigid and contractive. Okay, notice how your body's responding to this energy right now of life and death compared to when we're like, where are you living? Where are you dying? Notice how you can hear me better. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for that space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you for the messages. Also, I see a lot of great faces from our Expansive Energies groups. We have a couple of spaces that have opened up as some of our members are traveling out of the country. So if you'd like to join our Expansive Energies groups, we have 2 in English. One meets on Friday, one meets on Monday, and then we have a Francophone group that is also going to start being available to Italian speaking people that meets on Mondays. And basically in this group, we meet 45 minutes every 2 weeks, in which we get group sessions all together. There's 10 people max in the group at a time. And we get to do group sessions facilitated by me with all of the different energies we have available to us. So sometimes it's the living and dying body process. Sometimes it's theta healing. Other times it's tantra or shamanism. Or last time one of the groups did the intimacy of being a fantastical creature and those exercises. We're going to do art and movement. I mean, it's what is available to us, what's going to work, and let's go. And it's just anywhere from $45 to $55 US, depending on the group, because we also have to pay our interpreters, don't we? Yeah. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and let us know in the chat or send me a direct message or the interpreters a direct message, and we will get you connected with the information. And that's all of the announcements that I have, unless some of the crew, if the fantastical crew has a message that I've forgotten, please let me know. Okay. We got the message. Okay. So thank you so much for sending in questions. Somebody sent in the question and comment. I agree that I'm willing to soar beyond definition. So how do I make my business vibrate and my business tingle and soar as well? I love this question. Megan, you're like, what would it take to have all of our businesses tingle and tickle us and make us giggle? You know, one of my crew members, Caroline, was just sending me a message, and I always think of her fairy dust and giggles card deck that she made. And one of the big things with business, and to make it kind of shine out in the world and vibrate, is to actually include more energies in it, to include more people in it, and to be willing to be seen and found. If you're hiding, is this adding some energy? I said found, but it got cut out, I promise you. Someone put in the chat, and found. I was like, I said found. I know I did. So seen and found. And for many of us, we're hiding. If we aren't willing to be found and be visible, how is money supposed to find us? How are clients supposed to find us? How are people to collaborate with and create with supposed to find us? So for any of us, and this is all aspects of business, including the business of living, if you'd like to have it vibrate, to have it shine, to have it tickle you and light you up, to have you go, well, where are you hiding? And what about you are you hiding? It's probably the very things that you think are shameful, and that, oh, nobody needs to know this, or nobody wants to hear about this, that might actually draw people in and make you accessible, and just be willing to be vulnerable with people and not have to be perfect all the time. When I stopped needing to be perfect, like, oh my gosh, years ago, I would have freaked out that the internet was getting messed up and the signal was acting up. I was like, ah! And I was like, that's not my stuff. What is this exactly? Oh, it's a bunch of this unseen bodies, or disembodied here. It's a lot of my creatures that are like, oh my gosh, we've been waiting for this since the spring call. It's time. They want to join the party. There's a lot of lies and judgment here. It's like, okay, it's not really about me at all in a lot of ways, and I can just acknowledge it. And I did see your comment and question in the chat. I will address it, I promise. So that's what I would recommend, and that's my suggestion for being seen. And it could be as simple as asking, well, one, where am I hiding and what am I hiding? But in addition to those questions I've already mentioned, it's also about, well, what information do people need to know about me and my business that I haven't made available to them? Like, where are you assuming that people know things about you and your business that they have absolutely no idea about? Especially if you have multiple aspects to your business, how are they able to find that out with ease? And for me, I've gone on this journey as well, and I'm still making it available, because a lot of people only find me through a certain avenue, and then they start finding out about the rest. Like, they'll know me about my speech and language or my family and child coaching, and then they realize, oh, she also does this therapeutic energy work. Well, they'll find me through therapeutic energy work, like Access Consciousness and shamanism and the Facebook groups and whatever. And then they're like, oh, she also has an Airbnb. What? Oh, she also does, like, what is all these things? And it's also letting go and being like, even when they hear it, like, how many of you know all this stuff about me and then you forget? Because you're caught up in your lives. You're busy doing your own thing too. And then people need to hear it a couple of times and be reminded. And so then what are the systems you can have in place that remind people of all these different aspects of the business, and which ones are the ones that want to take the lead in your business, so it makes it easier for the other aspects to contribute and flow? It's not about having to talk about all of them all of the time. Okay. All right. Thanks for that question. And if anything comes up with you guys as I'm giving some ideas and suggestions that answering somebody else's questions, go ahead and put in the chat, or let me know. Yes, the living and dying body process can also help with business. So I actually run it on my business. I actually activate the energies of the living and dying body process in my body when I'm throwing cards for people, even including myself. So I'll do like business card readings, and you can combine them with these different tools. If you like pendulums, if you like crystals, you ask first, hey, is this going to actually work together, instead of assuming it will? And then if you get a yes, then you can actually expand the energies and make it even clearer and louder your way as you're getting the information. And so I've found that the living and dying body process is absolutely a gift to business, because it clears out all the muck and makes sure that I'm actually living and thriving in business, and letting go of anything that is not going to work in my business, the dying part, like we talked about earlier. so that my business continues to expand and grow, and that I'm actually including joy in business. Because if you're actually truly living and dying, you have joy. And so if you're at the effects of your capacities with living and dying, it's a lot harder to have joy with business, including the business of living. Okay. Thanks for that comment. Okay. In the chat earlier, I don't want to forget it. So what will it take for me to have all of my awareness, perceiving, receiving, knowing, and being? Well, what are you not asking me? So what's really the question you want to ask that you didn't put in there? Because what we've already said addresses that, so cool. And there's something else. So what's the other question there? I'll give you a moment to see what pops into your head. Is there a particular area of your life in which you are asking for that for? Or is it everything? What, give me some more information, some more to chew on with that, okay? I'll come back to you.
I would say it's like, I'm aware that I'm like blocking some of it. Like it's like I'm afraid to have it. Yeah.
So what would be the worst thing that could happen if you actually had it?
Be destroyed. But that's also impossible. Like, I mean, actually.
Yeah, you can't really be destroyed. You're an infinite being. Yeah. And then on top of that, also, aren't you like a badass and stuff? And would you actually let anything and anyone destroy you? Like, it's like, I wish somebody would try to destroy me. Oh, what?
I do wish. I do wish, because that would be fun, actually.
You see, so it's like, so there's the money. There's the yum.
The fun game.
So how much of us are actually like really have the fun of like the battle scenes? Like, you know, I've been playing with kids all day, and they are telling me all of these these video games that they're playing. Like one was Warzone. Another one that they talked about was that I was like, ooh, I hadn't heard of it. What was it? Oh, Roadblocks, and there's like an escape room in the game. There was another one that was like the battles between different creatures, and they love these games. And a lot of it, I'm like, I like kind of like the boxing games and the fighting games sometimes too, because like I wish someone would try to battle with me. And there's this like challenge piece, but there's also this like, it's not a big deal. I'll just restart the game, or I'll just have another life. And that's really similar to what's actually true. You just, all right, we'll just choose another body. Oh, we'll just start again. We can go from bankrupt to having abundance over and over and over again. And I know people that I truly care about that have done that. They're just like, all right, I'm going to file for bankruptcy. And then I know the money's going to come back and I'm going to soar again. Not a big deal. It's just what's going to work right now. So how much are you actually loving this loop of like destroy and create, destroy and create? And what if you actually just acknowledged it, had more fun with it, and then use that to your advantage? Like if it's not significant to you, okay, come and destroy me, come and attack me, whatever. And then, oh wait, now we get to be friends? Like, you know how many people have thought I was a bitch, and I am, and thought I was, you know, horrible, and I can be, and thought I was, you know, a slut, which sometimes I am as well. And then they end up being my best friends, and we get to be really, really great. It's like, yeah, I'm that and more. I'm beyond definition. Bring it on. Like, and either you can be my friend or not, but it's like, I'm willing for those points of views to show up and not let it destroy me, but they think that they can with those points of views. And that's interesting. Okay. So if you're willing for people to try to destroy you and it not be a big deal, man, what would your relationships be like? And what would your businesses be like? It's like, oh yeah, try to take that idea and run with it. It's not going to look the same as when I created in the world, but go ahead. Make it yours. It's consciousness can't be stolen. So if you want to take something that I'm doing and try to do it in the world your way, go ahead. More of it in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like it's fine. Okay. So have fun with that, Megan. All right. And thanks for the question. Okay, we have a question that was sent in. Okay. Okay, hello, more and more. I stop myself from showing up, and sharing too. I'm always in judgment of myself and I'm afraid of the judgment of others. Well, you think I addressed that one. How do I get out of it? There's a little bit more here. Please look at what we already talked about. And then also, please consider for yourself where it is that you are mimicking and copying other people that are judging themselves, other people that are judging you, and then you are keeping those judgments in your body and in your life. Like, how many of us are super aware of the judgments that other people have of us? I've already made a couple examples, stated a couple examples of judgments that people have of me, and that's like scratching the surface. Just there's so many more things that have been judged about me. Let me make sure that this is plugged in. Yes, okay, good, it is. I think we needed like a tuning fork. That was like a tuning fork there. And if we actually look at where people are judging us, we actually be like, okay, like I've actually done examples and exercises where I walk in to a space, and this is key. You can't do this exercise if you actually think that this is a big deal. Okay, so don't do this exercise if this is a big deal. But all right, so got your messages. Thank you, everybody. So if you get that people judging you is a big deal and you have to start from there, it's like, oh, it's not really a big deal that they're judging me. But one of the things that I've done with people that do my coaching exercises with me and my coaching sessions is I'll sit with them and we will go into like a space, let's say a family event or a business meeting. And we will actually call up the energy of the family event or call up the energy of the business meeting, whatever it is, these situations where they're like really stopping themselves, where they're really hiding. And we'll write down and acknowledge all these judgments, possible judgments and actual judgments that we're perceiving in those spaces. And it's amazing what being like, oh, that's there and that's there and that's there, how much space it creates for someone, because they realize, oh, this is just stuff I'm aware of. These are just things that are coming up in people's worlds. This is just an interesting point of view. Like, for example, if I'm going into a business meeting and I'm like, oh, I'm aware that so-and-so thinks that my skirt is too short. I'm aware that so-and-so thinks that I look too young and that they can't learn anything from me because I'm so young. I'm aware that they have points of views that as I'm a woman, because I'm a woman, blah, 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 whatever it is. And I just point this out for myself. I'm not saying it out loud. And so when I guide people through this, and if this is something that's relevant to your world, please look at this, but make sure that you're not like, but this is a really big deal. They're judging me. It's like, yeah, everyone's judging you in some way, even positive judgment. Like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful person I've ever met. Oh, everything comes so easy for her. She's always so happy. That's not relevant to me ever, right? Like, people think I'm happy all the time. I'm not happy all the time. I choose happy as much as possible every single day, but sometimes it's really a lot of freaking work. It doesn't just show up like, oh, all the time. You got to choose it. Okay. So if you look at this exercise and you do this, you actually get to create a lot of space for yourself, and you get to clear out all this mess and cobwebs and blocks that are in the way of you actually having a space of no judgment with yourself, even in the face of other people judging you. It's like, all right, this is where I'm at today, y'all. Like, I was going to come on, and if I was still having a rough moment for whatever reason earlier, I was still going to show up, because I knew that, one, I'm going to show up for my life and business. I'm going to show up for y'all. I said I was going to, but then on top of that, I knew it would create more, because I asked first, is it going to create more? Yes, it is, to show up and play with you and facilitate this call, because everything that's in my world man, is it a lot lighter. As you facilitate other people, you facilitate yourself. As you are inviting people to another possibility, you're inviting yourself to that possibility as well. So this is another way for you to get out of the judgment. It's another way for you to stop hiding, because if you're waiting for, I have to be perfect, everything has to be exactly doop, 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 before I can choose, you're slowing yourself down. So please stop that. Please stop that and show up. Show up no matter what. Show up. And magic can happen, like what we've created so far together, and I'm super, super grateful for. We have a question in the chat. Severine, do you want to? Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you for translating that. Okay. So how do I actualize my business? And I can't soar, I can't start. I was having this wonderful conversation yesterday with a good friend of mine. And we were talking about self-talk, the things we tell ourselves, and the power of that. Our bodies are listening. Our animal guides, spirit guides, fantastical creature crew, whatever you want to call them, they're listening and they're waiting. And so when we say things like, I can't this, I'm horrible at this, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I'm ugly, I'm whatever, fill in the blank, they're listening, and that's what we start creating more and more of. And it's not to just say things to say it. Like, oh, I'm going to tell myself I'm beautiful when actually I really don't believe it. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But what is actually true for you about soaring? What makes it easier for you to start? And what are the areas in which it's been easy for you to start? And then ask for that to generalize to the areas where it's been more challenging for you to start. For all of us, we have at least one area in our life where we've had more ease. Not total ease, perhaps, but more ease than in others. Maybe it's with artistic pursuits. Maybe it's with creating relationships that were really sweet and social, something like that. Whatever that is, that's ease for you to start, for you to soar, for you to go beyond definition. Ask, because when you ask, you can receive it. You're actually telling the universe you're willing to receive it. Ask, how can I generalize this to this other area that is like, wow, has it been challenging to get going on this? There's this exercise, I'm a speech language pathologist, like I mentioned, and there's a lot of people I work with that stutter. And so instead of saying, I want to soar, they say, I want it to store, I want to soar. Sorry, translators. And what we find with stuttering is that the beginning of the sentence is the most likely place for you to have a disfluent or stuttering moment. Very much like in life. The beginnings are the trickier parts. It's really hard for many of us to start, but as soon as we take that first step, and then the next, and then the next, and each one is like another first step, it starts getting smoother. Many of us also feel like the start is bigger than it actually is. What if we broke down the start into mini steps that make it more accessible? So instead of being like, I have to start a business, it's like, I have to ask myself what my gifts and capacities are. That's the first step. I have to ask myself, oh, what is fun for me? Where is money already showing up? That's a first step. And then, oh, I've already started my business. Check that out. You see that? I just started a business right there with that question. How cool. Instead of, oh, the mountain that is starting a business. You see what I mean? It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit different. A comment in the chat, I was thinking the same thing, having issues motivating and manifesting that part of my life. In the Conscious Luck book, and when we're talking with Megan, one of the things that Megan and I have been discussing in preparation for the Messages from Books call about this book, and definitely check out this book, even if you're not in the Messages from Books community, it's a great resource. I just find that book clubs and book discussions with other people help highlight things that I wouldn't necessarily consider, right? Like, it's just a great, like, dynamic discussion. It's like, oh, and then you get to connect with other people around the world. So how does it get any better than that? But in this book, when you're looking at luck, it's a lot of us feel like motivation has to be there for us to create our lives. And actually, it's not about motivation at all. Motivation is something external. So we're waiting for these external circumstances. We're waiting for the people to show up. We're waiting for, even for us to have the energy to get out of bed. There are many moments, especially with all the care that we're doing with my grandmother here, all of the emergency and crisis management of my family lately, where I wake up and I am not motivated and I am low energy. And I could say, I could let that dictate my day. But if I did, I wouldn't be here with you beautiful people right now. So what did I do? Do I wait for motivation? Do I wait for the energy? No. I make the demand of myself, no matter what. If there's no motivation or not, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to talk with my body, and I'm going to choose. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to ask a question. There's a couple ones we can ask, and I'll mention them. Okay. I'm going to make the demand of myself as I talk with my body. If you don't know how to talk with your body, let me know. We got calls on that. We got classes on that. There's lots of tools, because your body is listening all the time, and your body would love to co-create an amazing life with you, to help you get out of bed, to help you go and contribute to the world and be the gift that you already are. So some questions that I asked this morning, and that I ask on any mornings where I feel like I've been hit by a truck, or where I'm like, am I really getting out of bed today? Yep. So some questions. I'm going to just mention 3. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We're going to have to talk about that probably on another call, but I see your question about how can I talk with my body? There's a lot of tools with that, and we can send you some taster videos on some of them. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you for asking. So some questions when you're hit like a truck. We did a call maybe a year or 2 ago called Leaping Out of Bed, because people were talking about how hard it was to get out of bed in the morning. And it isn't that I don't have those mornings where I have those challenges. It's I use all of these tools to get my butt out of bed. And then I go, and after I decided, I don't just say, okay, I'm going to get out of bed. Most of the time I say, okay, not only am I going to get out of bed, but what movement will be like this leap for me, will be like leaping into the day. And sometimes it's a little spin. Sometimes it's a little, whoo, what is it? Sometimes it's a bow, like, all right, I am surrendering to this life that I have right now, and to all the people calling me, and all the people that are asking for me to show up, right? We talked about showing up. So what's the movement? Body, what's the movement? What's the sound? What's the energy or vibration that I can be with you right now to start off this day? I'm going to put this in the chat for y'all. What's the sound, movement, energy, or vibration that I can be with you to start off my day? And you can tweak it. Start off my day on a high note. Start out my day exuberantly. Just start your freaking day, though. Got to start. And we were talking about how hard it is to start, right? So that actually contributes to the other person that was asking about that as well. Another question. Is any of this mine? And, it's when you have loved ones that are going through illness, that are in anxiety and depression, that are in crisis mode, it's really tempting to take all of that heaviness and put it in your body. Or maybe you're doing a great job doing it and not putting it in your body during the day. And then as soon as you're asleep, you start doing it unconsciously and you wake up like you've been processing the whole world while you're asleep. I'm aware that sometimes I do that, not a lot less than before, but if there's any of that that's relevant to me as I've been sleeping and it's affecting my ability to get out of bed, I ask, is any of this mine? Yes, thank you for translating that. And then last question I'll leave you with, even though there's always more questions, there's never a limit to questions that we can ask to get us out of bed. You ready? What is the world and the life that I truly desire asking of me today? And is that getting out of bed? Every once in a while, I actually get rest some more. I got that earlier this weekend. I asked this question, and it was not don't ever get out of bed, but just for a little bit longer, rest. But there might be a bunch of other things that it asks of you. What is the world and the life I truly, truly, truly desire asking of me today? Sometimes it's the picture of somebody that you should call, or an idea for something to create. There's so many different things that can pop into your head. So ask these questions and get out of bed at the time that it's going to work for you, for your life, and for the world. And it's including all of that. It's not you or the world. It's not the world or you. It's not your body or you. It's all of it's together. All of it works together. Okay. All right. And then let's see here. I think. Oh, and then the question about that someone asked and sent in, what can I be to free myself from the memories written in my cells that I've lived, and that things that I've locked in my body from past lives that separate me in pieces, in two. Part of this integration is if you are knowing that there's different things in your body that are locked in, use every body process, use every tool that you know to clear it from your cells. Part of the living and dying body process, at the end, we do a cell activation. You guys remember this from the class, right? We do a cell activation, but it's to invite you to actually be with every cell of your body, with all of the molecules that would like to play with you, which is all of them. So many molecules would like to play with you. And if you are willing to be with every cell of your body and all of the molecules your way, you get to be more present, you're not fragmented, and there's an integration of all these gifts and capacities that you might have sent off to different places, to different spaces, awarenesses that you have cut off, buried, or shut down. Okay. So you can ask for this information to show up, and you can also choose it. You can choose to be like, okay, I know that there's stuff stuck in my cells. Let's pour it out of our bodies. Let's use any body process that you already know, because the person who sent in this question hasn't taken this class yet, but I know that you've taken other classes that have given you some really powerful tools. Use them and clear out all of the sludge from your cells, and then ask your cells to be even more in tune with you and your body, and for you to always stay with your body, with those cells. If you're ever leaving your body, it's a lot harder for you to then say, oh, let's clear this stuff out of the cells. Let's clear these memories out, any of this residual stuff. The DNAs are affected by this. The shape of our cells are affected by this. And that is the precursor to dis-ease and to disease. So what if we chose actually something different? Okay. And if you'd like, you could be the Expansive Energies group. We have it. This person sent this question in French, so thank you for that. We do have the group that for Francophones that meet on Mondays right now. And the next meeting is, I think, 2 weeks from this past Monday, whatever that is. I think, is that July 5th? I don't know. Yes, okay, July 5th. Thank you in the chat. So that's all I got for y'all right now. You get sent in some amazing questions. I'm checking in the chat to see if I missed any comments or questions in the chat. Was this helpful? Hopefully. I also just love seeing all y'all and having your energy here. Like I said, it was a rough start to the morning. I got up, I showed up, and man, did y'all make it worthwhile. Oh, such a gift. Such a gift. Okay. Last thing. Our next Soaring Beyond Definition call, we're going to have a season, and the next one's going to be in the fall, right? We just had our summer one, and it's September 23rd. So mark your calendars, same time. It's before all the time changes in the world, so it should work. Same time, September 23rd, and that is a Thursday as well. Okay, so go ahead and mark your calendars. We will include the registration link in the replay email for this call. You'll get the audio for this, and there's will be my little video face in there if you'd like, or you could just be like, oh, she's so ugly, because I'm willing to be judged for being ugly, whatever, or pretty, whatever that is. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in the next call. Hope to see you playing in these other groups. If you have any questions about any of this, let us know. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening. Gosh, and some of you it's morning, so in morning wherever you are. Bye for now.